In 2004, a mysterious rock was found near the Roswell crash site, bearing the same image as a crop circle that was discovered in Chiselden, England, on August 2nd, 1996.
On the Roswell Rock, you have an almost identical symbol in England. To me, it's very fascinating because it essentially shows that they're trying to somehow communicate with us. So the idea is that perhaps some of these crop circles indeed are messages from elsewhere. And elsewhere, in my opinion, means of extraterrestrial origin.
Could it be that some crop formations serve as a medium for extraterrestrial communication? Many crop circle researchers say yes, and suggest further evidence of this can be found by examining the advanced astronomical, scientific, and mathematical equations contained within them.
One formation had everyone baffled, and people were saying, well, what is this? Then a mathematician had a look at it and said, wait a minute, that's a representation of pi, and it's correct down to 10 decimal places.
It's a representation of pi in a geometric sense. It's kind of interesting because the way you get pi out of it is the lengths of the different arcs in each segment. And what happens is there's these little notches in the spiral that let you know you're at the end of an arc. So you actually have to measure the arc lengths as you go around, and their lengths give you the digits of pi. And there's a little circle to give you the decimal point. So it's a really interesting example of using geometry as a code for representing digits and numbers.
It just shows the level of knowledge, mathematical knowledge, geometric skill that goes into making these things. Many of the most famous crop circles actually derive from fractal patterns. The Mandelbrot set, the Julia set. To make these, you have to have knowledge of math. Mathematics is, of course, the universal language. If we ever encounter aliens, they're not going to speak English or French or German. We'll speak and we'll communicate via mathematics. Could crop circles, as some believe, be an attempt from an alien civilization to reach out and communicate with us?
There's a consistent amount of sacred geometry, tetrahedrons, cubes, octahedrons, and even more complex geometric patterns. Many of our best and top scientists are now saying that this geometry is the secret keys to the higher dimensions, and it's right there in the crops, as if they're giving us a trail of breadcrumbs, showing us how to get to the next level as a planet.
Mill Hill, Wiltshire, England, 1991. Steve Alexander, a local photographer, is filming footage of a crop formation from a neighboring hill when he captures a strange metallic light floating in the field below.
What is it?
Oh.
His camera caught sight of what seemed to be a white orb of light flying right across this field, right next to a crop circle. That orb of light, whatever it was, flew directly over a tractor working in the next field down. And later on, that farmer was contacted, and he said, I saw this weird orb of light about the size of a melon or something fly over my tractor.
Whatever that is, that's moving on its own.
I myself have seen several, and they are astonishing in their brightness. We are dealing with intelligent plasmas that are sending and receiving information for another intelligence of unknown origin.
Orbs of light are a commonly associated phenomenon with crop circles, and this goes all the way back to the story of the mowing devil in 1678.
The sighting of lights is often associated with these phenomena, and they do seem to suggest something we don't understand. The ghost lights, the will-o'-the-wisp sightings, represented some force of nature we had not entirely acknowledged or given sufficient respect to, some mystery that we need to come to grips with.
It could be an actual craft, or it could potentially be something like the stylus from an extraterrestrial hand that is somewhere far away, but this light is the projected form of a technology being used from the safety and comfort of space.
We have to imagine an advanced extraterrestrial race sending out orbs of light that are sort of like peepholes for exploration. They come to a planet, they find something interesting, the peephole opens into a portal, perhaps through which these advanced visitors can pass, or perhaps through which a human could even enter and travel to the home planet of the orb. Is this what a crop circle is? To me, the proliferation of wormhole-themed crop circles tells us that this is the method of communication as well as travel of these advanced visitors.
There is a possibility that we are dealing with time travelers. The time travelers are using the crop formations to judge the accuracy of their time travel. So are the crop formations designed for humans at all?
Just what purpose do crop circles serve? Are they landing codes for time travelers, as some crop circle investigators suggest? Or is it possible that they serve as a communication medium? One only meant for us to discover once we evolved enough to discern them from the sky. Winchester, England, April 24th, 2022. A mysterious formation emerges in a field of mustard plants. The perfectly symmetrical design is a phenomenon known as a crop circle. And it is just one of many strange patterns that appear in the English countryside every year.
Crop circles are basically features, designs, illustrations of high complexity in crops. They tend to be complicated designs of unknown origin.
In terms of the patterns themselves, they've been undergoing this amazing sort of ramp up in sophistication. You can find these huge, what they call pictographs, that span hundreds of feet across a whole field and feature multiple components. And they're arranged with mathematical precision.
Crop circles appear in more than 50 countries, and there literally have been thousands of them, maybe over 10,000 crop circles that we're aware of in the modern era.
Today, thousands of people visit these formations, including researchers who take measurements of the patterns, collect stalks and soil samples, and record aerial images for further study. Documentation of these mysterious impressions may also include eyewitness accounts of strange lights and objects seen around the same time a crop circle appears. Such accounts have been widely reported since the mid-1960s.
First modern example of the discovery of a crop circle actually being made was by George Pedley in 1966 in Australia. What George Pedley saw was an object rising out of a lagoon. And then the object, he couldn't tell how they did it, the object actually made a pattern in the foliage in the lagoon, a geometric pattern from that object.
He finds a circular area where the grass in the swamp or the reeds are matted down. This is reported in the Australian press, and they start labeling these UFO nests or flying saucer nests.
While crop circles have been documented for more than 60 years, there is evidence that these mysterious formations have been appearing in farmers' fields for centuries. Hertfordshire, England, 1678. A woodcut pamphlet called The Mowing Devil is published that portrays a devilish figure creating a circle in a field of oats.
It refers to a supposedly true story of a farmer that saw these mysterious lights in a field, and the next morning when he went out there, he found these circular depressions in his land, you know, actually within the crop.
The stalks weren't broken, but they were folded over, and people even started to blame the devil, what was called the mowing devil.
While the mowing devil woodcut attributed the mysterious crop formation to an evil entity, 200 years later, English scientist John Capron applied his scientific analysis to what he witnessed in 1880, when he proposed that a cyclonic wind of unknown origin created perfectly circular patches of flattened crops.
Capron might be the first person to connect crop circles to what we today call UAPs or UFOs, because he's describing some kind of a whirlwind that is coming out of the sky and is having this effect on the ground. It's creating what we call a crop circle.
Ancient astronaut theorists suggest that these incidents, along with modern crop circle accounts, provide evidence that these strange formations may be connected to visitations by otherworldly beings.
The eyewitnesses who have reported seeing crop circles manifest have described some extraordinary phenomena. They describe tubes of light, swirling beams of light.
Very famously, back in the 1990s, there was balls of light flying across the field that were actually seen to lay the crops flat. And within a space of only a couple of minutes, they were filmed actually producing one of those designs.
Many researchers suggest there are now enough reports of unusual activity around crop circles to disprove a highly publicized claim made over 30 years ago, that all such formations are man-made. Wiltshire, England, May 19th, 1999. U.S. billionaire and philanthropist Lawrence Rockefeller establishes a grant to assist with one of the largest studies of crop circles in history. The donation reflects the growing interest in the scientific study of how and why crop circles are created.
There was a scientist by the name of W.C. Levengood who did some very, very interesting work at various sites in southern England where crop circles appeared in the 1990s. And he found some very strange things were going on. For instance, he found that some of the stalks were blowing out, which he felt was only replicable by microwave radiation. Levengood also found traces of other forms of radiation. And he even found that some of the corn would yield much better growth if it was actually taken from a crop circle formation.
Dr. Levengood, he noticed that inside the crop circle, the growth rate was 5 times as fast than what's going on outside of that crop circle. And when he investigated this, he actually came up with a technique called molecular impulse response.
From this study, he was able to do a bit of reverse engineering, and he created electrical pulse technology that is actually used to accelerate plant growth.
Scientists were astounded that the radiation research of crop circles led to new innovations in plant growth. Radiation was also believed to be the source of so-called ghost formations, where the stark impression of a crop circle appears long after the field has been cleared.
There's photographic evidence of many examples where people have turned up after the farmer has harvested the crop, and they can still see elements of the design persisting.
Several people have come forward to claim that they actually witnessed mysterious lights, UFOs, UAPs, in the vicinity of a particular field. And then the next day, crop circles are actually found. So what is the relationship between these mysterious globes of light and ghost formations revealing this negative of the crop formation that had been there the previous year?
For ancient astronaut theorists, the appearance of aerial phenomena, along with the emergence of ghostly pre-existing patterns, supports the theory that some crop circles are not man-made, but instead could be an extraterrestrial creation. And they point to specific features in certain formations that may explain their purpose.